was exactly the same. It was, except of course we're home, but we had the laptop here. He would have two different instructors each day, one per hour, but it was the same material that they were covering in the center, but he could do it here at home, where he's comfortable. And they sent home all the materials that we needed to, for him for the program.
Welcome to Lindamood-Bell Radio. I'm Dave Hungerford for Lindamood-Bell, and the voice you just heard was Liz, the mother of a second grader from Fresno, California. Lindamood-Bell has summer programs you can count on. Live, online, or in person, we are open. We're here for you and your family. Your student can catch up or get ahead before the new school year. Reading, comprehension, math, we have individualized instruction that you can count on. Here's my conversation with Liz.
I am Bryce's mom. Bryce, right now he just turned 8 and he's in second grade. He loves exercise. He loves gymnastics, very artistic. He likes to paint, draw, color, build things with Legos. He's very hands-on. He likes to do things and work with clay, and also very active, very creative. He loves playing. He loves imaginative play.
Right. And tell me about his school background. He's in second grade now. How was his journey thus far?
Okay. So, yes, he's in second grade. He started at the school where he is in what they call junior kindergarten, so the year before kindergarten. And it was around kindergarten when we started kind of realizing that just the pre-reading, the foundation to reading was not clicking as quickly or as well as some of, his classmates. But not just that, I think it was in kindergarten when his teacher kind of made it known to us that the reading was not coming along as, it probably should. So we might want to look into that.
And this is at age 4, age 5?
He was age 5.
Age 5.
At that time.
What stood out? That was he not like picking up letters and sounds connected, or?
It was just, and at that age, it's very, it's the very basic sight words that they start introducing, like maybe the word the, and just some of the simple books, like Bob books. But I think it was from day to day, he might be able to say THE for the one day, but the next day he wouldn't. It was like he never learned that before. So it was just, it didn't seem like anything was sticking as far as just even the pre-reading. And I have an older son, so we've gone through the reading process with him. And so I noticed that there was challenges here that didn't seem like what I'd experienced before with our older son. And we did try different reading tutors. We did a lot of reading with him. And he always loved to be read to, and he could picture the story and what was happening. But when it came time for him to sound out the words, it just didn't seem like that was something he could do. So that was kindergarten. We still just tried various tutors that we have locally. And in first grade, we thought, okay, this is where the real reading instruction starts. So we just thought, okay, let's give him a chance to get going on the school year, and we'll work with the teacher. And we'll continue doing some after-school reading as well. And, we were doing as much as we could as far as the tutoring, but even that's when spelling tests started, and spelling tests were just impossible for him. He couldn't, even just basic words, he would reverse letters a lot of times. Reading, they had to start reading out loud, and that was kind of a fearful thing for him.
So his behavior, he knew he was struggling, and was he affected by that a little bit?
He was. once it started feeling more real, kindergarten, it's still, you're young. It doesn't, maybe school doesn't click in that this matters so much, but
once you're in the graduate school of first grade, right?
Right. First grade, you start getting graded, but he was doing okay until just about December, right before Christmas. And he started, one day he came home from school, he went to the office just crying, and I picked him up, and he just said, I don't feel well. I took him home. There's a couple days of that, his stomach was hurting, and we took him to the doctor. She, said nothing physically was wrong. And after a couple of days, we took him back to school, and he just wouldn't go inside the classroom. He would tremble. He would stay in the car. He just would not. I mean, the level of anxiety that he was feeling was unlike anything I've seen. I felt terrible. I felt worried. I felt, is it school? Is it the reading? Is it something else? But we talked to his teacher, and his teacher said he's doing fine with friends. Socially, he's fine. He's, a good boy. He's listening. So we had him tested then for, we just had kind of a general testing done by a doctor. And that's when, it took several weeks to it was 2 different days of testing. And then several weeks later, we got the report back. And the report did tell us that he was struggling with dyslexia.
And how did they define that to you, dyslexia?
They basically said for him it was dysphonetic dyslexia. And for Bryce, it was specifically with phonological awareness, if I'm saying that right. And he had a very hard time with taking letters. He knows all the letters, or he knew at that time still. He knew all the letters, and he knew all the sounds that each letter makes, but blending them together was very difficult. And for example, if you have a word such as cat, if you take away he might have known that word by that time, but if the doctor said take away the C and what do you have left, he could not say at. He wouldn't be able to know that those 2 letters would make a word. And so at that time, they gave us, different options of ways to help. And one, of course, was the Lindamood-Bell program.
So the doctor mentioned it themselves.
He mentioned it, and he had heard great things about it. There was a couple other places also that he mentioned, but after us, my husband and I doing some research, we felt that Lindamood-Bell would be the right place for him. It seemed such a thorough curriculum, a thorough type of different programs that they offer. And then just talking to the center and the liveliness and the excitement and encouragement that they have there felt like the right fit.
Now, you don't have a center near you, right? So you had to
We don't
travel.
We don't have one near us. We at the time it was the spring, and this was the spring of first grade. And so when I called the center, they said they offer a summer intensive program, and for 8 weeks. And at that time we said, okay, let's do the assessment, because they require an assessment as well. So we had him do an assessment with Lindamood-Bell, and that first assessment was virtual. So we were here at home, and the instructors were in San Luis Obispo.
Oh, how'd that work?
That was great. I didn't know what to expect. That was our first time. Bryce was still, young, first grade. They sent everything over to us, including a document camera, headphones with a microphone on it, and instructions for how we set everything up on the laptop. And there was a speed test, which I went through and did it. It was very easy to test the speed of our computer to make sure it's compatible with the system that they were using. And it was, and everything worked smoothly.
So was he taking tests like just filling in blanks on things, or was there someone there administering the test?
Right. There was someone on the other end. There's an instructor, and he had a packet, but she also mainly was showing him kind of different sets of questions, and they would interact together. And there was also a kind of a star card, a reward sheet. So maybe there were 9 boxes, and they would travel through each box. So it created, for him, a sense of completion and incentive to finish all the 9 boxes, because once he got there and once he finished, then they had said he gets a reward, which they did mail him a Target gift card, a little reward, which was a great incentive. But they have, a lot of different ways that make it fun.
Great. And how were the results of the test? Testing,
Well,
I guess there's more than one.
The testing was similar to what we, were experiencing with him at the time, where his reading level was maybe kindergarten level, but probably not even quite there. It had different categories of where he tested. One was phonemic awareness, one was symbol imagery, and then the third one was kind of his vocabulary or general comprehension. And so he was probably 1 to 2 grade levels below on the phonemic awareness and symbol imagery. And then
vocab and comprehension?
That one, he was probably ahead of grade level on that one. And because I think he has always maintained a good vocabulary and understands stories, he knows what's going on. It's just more it's just the word attack, like the coding, the looking at letters and blending them and making them into words is where he was really struggling.
Got it. So what happened next?
So then, we were pretty thankful to have these results, because at least it gave us a hope and something that we could do right away and help him prepare for 2nd grade, which is what our goal was. And so we decided to spend, about 2 months in San Luis Obispo over the summer. We were able to find, just a little house we could rent, and we went there with the family, with our other 2 children as well, and committed to this 8-week program, because we felt that what Bryce needed most at this time was that focused time for him to increase this, the phonemic awareness and his ability to decode words and blend them together. And so for us, that was a commitment and also a little bit of a sacrifice, but it was definitely worth it for us. So we kind of got him all set up for a start date early June, right when school was ending.
Great. And came over and he went through that, and I'm presuming it went pretty well. I'm hoping.
Yeah, we had a great experience. He grew tremendously in his confidence, of course, in his reading ability, and even his ability to read sight words, because they started getting into that at the end of the 8 weeks. He had fun every day. They had, Wednesdays were kind of wacky Wednesdays, so they got to dress up. And that was always fun for him. The instructors and kind of the bond that he had with them and with some of the other students in the program at that time was just like they've been friends forever. I mean, they had a really wonderful time, and we couldn't be happier with the results we had after those 8 weeks with Bright.
It's really cool to see that they work hard at it, but consistent feeling of nurturing. And they look the same when you walk in. There's the same decor, and they find people that are able to really connect with kids well. It's pretty good to see.
I think that's wonderful. And you feel that. It's open, it's light. They have couches that are comfortable for the children to, when they take breaks, to go there and just relax. They have games. They just make it very open and very, like you said, nurturing.
Yeah.
And so many reward systems that I think are crucial. They're fun for the children, but also such an important aspect to making the program so effective, because it keeps the kids focused and wanting to, keep moving forward while having fun.
So then he went back to second grade, and how'd that go?
So then, yes, at the end of the 8 weeks, he made a huge, tons of progress. We were so thankful, but he still did have more work to do to get to where he was at a real comfortable, probably second half of second grade level. And we decided to keep the momentum going for him. And so we decided to do more. The first semester of second grade, we had decided to do more online training with him through Lindamood-Bell while keeping him doing his normal school day. And he was just almost a totally different child going into second grade. He was confident. He was so happy. It was like he was glowing every day. He felt good about himself. The teachers just said, this seems like a different Bryce. And he loved seeing his friends every day. He has two little best friends. There's 3 of them, but they're so close. But there's 21 students in the class, and he just says, Mom, I have 21 friends. Everyone's, and it's true. They're all supportive and friendly. So but he started raising his hand and reading more in class. He was doing well on his spelling test, and he was trying hard. To him, it mattered. And I think he felt that because he started to feel the confidence that he was able to do the work. Whereas before, I don't think he felt that. So he would kind of use other mechanisms to compensate for that.
And he started doing a couple hours at the end of the day, you said, after school?
Yes. So then we did for pretty much, September through December, that full semester, we would do 2 hours after school. So he did a full school day, and then come home, have a little break, little snack, and then from 4 to 6 p.m. we would do the online training. And
was that instruction similar to in the center?
Yes, it was exactly the same. It was, except of course we're home, but we had the laptop here. He would have 2 different instructors each day, 1 per hour, but it was the same. It was the same material that they were covering in the center, but he could do it here at home, where he's comfortable. And they sent home all the materials that we needed to, for him for the program. And they still did. They have these star cards, which are rewards, and you get little stars for everything you answer correctly. And then the instructor writes a real positive message on the back. And once you collect, say 50 of those, you get a prize. So everything was the same. And even their methods of redirecting the child when maybe they get a little distracted were very effective. They are so highly trained, I feel, in working with children and getting them to, work hard and focus. So it was wonderful. And he was able to really do a good job and focus and have fun with the instructors. And it tended to be kind of the same ones. So it felt like a team, it felt like his little team working together.
And that ended up at the end of the semester, is that right? So in January
Yeah, we ended up at the end of the semester, and he had gotten through pretty much all the sight words that were required for second grade. And his reading so much better now. He's able to, sit down and read through books. And he's still doing his school and reading groups for school. And he can read out loud and follow along with his classmates and answer questions. And I mean, he's just the growth we've seen, and really it's just been a year now, is just amazing to me when I sit back and think about where we were then and where we are now. It's kind of a gift. You feel the hope, you feel that there's these techniques really work, especially when you feel you don't know what to do.
Yeah.
But this kind of gave us the hope, and we're so thankful for that.
Yeah, well, it's a good thing you got it early. It can sometimes, if it lingers, other things can come into play, bad behaviors and frustration, and it's just kind of a widening gap. So I'm glad you got that resolved so quickly.
Yes, we're so thankful we did, and I do think it's a process, so we're still in it. I wouldn't say we're completed it. I think Bryce is still going through a process of becoming a better and better reader, but all of the building blocks are there. And so now he's able to build on those and to become a more fluent reader. And so I feel like the foundation is what we needed to do. And we figured, Lindamood-Bell helped us to get there, to get that foundation that he needed. It's hard to have a roadmap. No one really tells you this is what you should do. You have to kind of trust your instincts, and but it is so nice to have gone through the program and be here and realize it was so incredibly helpful, and we are just feel so lucky and blessed and thankful that we had him do the program, and we can still do it, from home, and he has all the tools and the foundation, that he can work with.
Thanks again so much. I really appreciate it.
Thank you.
And thank you, the listener. For more information about Lindamood-Bell instruction, online or live, go to lindamoodbell.com. You can also check us out on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. We are Lindamood-Bell.